Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Good evening, my friends. This is Angy Stewart from InnerLight and the Kardec Radio. We are here live again Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm super happy to have you all here with us. So if you are new here, let me actually change this because I always forget, and this is the correct one. So at least I'm correct today. So if you are new here, we always have this study every week for 1 hour, divided in 30 minutes of a study of this beautiful book. This is the book, What is Spiritism? We are finalizing the first portion, that's the biography of Kardec that was written by Henri Sausse. It's very, very beautiful, and it's very helpful for all of us to understand a little bit more who was Kardec, the codifier of Spiritism, but also to understand all the difficulties he had to live in order that nowadays we have Spiritism. So it was not an easy life, as anyone know. Many times when you want to pursue some kind of spirituality or a philosophy that is different from the majority of the people, from the time or from the place that you live, it is difficult because people are going to be questioning you, and there is always nowadays prejudice. Imagine in the 1800s. So if in the 1800s was like this, nowadays should be like a piece of cake. But unfortunately, it is not. It is still very difficult. But this is wonderful for us to understand how strong he was and how determined he was to prove this was not like a joke. This was not something he invented, was something that was brought from the enlightened spirits. So this is how he created this method of investigation, of understanding, with these deeper questions that he was able to ask to the spirits. And you probably know he was not a medium per se, an ostensive medium. He used many mediums that helped him, including many young girls, very young, 13, 12, from all over the world that helped him. Anyway, this is the introduction of the first book. And this is the second book, The Gospel According to Spiritism. We studied this for 30 minutes with 2 guests. So it's like a conversation. You are always welcome to participate. As I always say, I cannot see your names. Like when you're doing a live on Facebook, I have no idea who is here. I only can see if you write something, then I can see your name. Like I can see Claudia Nunes. Hello, Claudia. Narciso. Hi, Narciso. Long time I don't see you here. Nice to have you. Teresa. Hello, Teresa. Very good to have you here. So if you guys are here, just write something. Make your comments, make your participation, your questions. It will be great. So it's 9:05. It's better we start so we don't waste the time. Please, if you don't have, run to your kitchen right now and bring your bottle of water or your glass of water, because we always say this will be your medication. So we are doing here just a study, but it's always wonderful to have our water, because we will start and we will end with a prayer, with good vibrations, with this positive energy. And you can mentalize this water as being fluidified by the enlightened spirits that will provide you with this good medication. So while our friends are coming, let's just concentrate, close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and let's do our quick initial prayer. Jesus, our dear brother, our master. We are here again to thank you for the opportunity to study, to improve, to enlighten ourselves. And at this moment, we ask your guidance, we ask your inspiration, so we can connect with our guardian angel. We can be able to understand certain questions that are very difficult for us, not intellectually to understand, but spiritually. Sometimes we have this inner prejudice that we cannot accept certain things. So, if possible, help us to understand what is the blockage that we have, and help us to open up our minds and open up our hearts, so we will be able to be here fully open to understand, to try to explore maybe things that we never were open before. Please stay with us now and always. Thank you. So be it. Very good, my friends. As I always do, I like to share with you my screen so you can see the book and you can actually read the book. So here you are going to see this is the book. This is where we stopped. We stopped right here on August 1st. Let me just put it a little bit here. So I will read and I will make comments about the book. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please put it there, because I will stop a few times to read, and I would love to see your opinion, to understand what you're thinking about it. So as I mentioned, we are reading the biography of Allan Kardec that was written by Henri Sausse. And in this point of Kardec's life, he just finished a big travel. So he's dedicating all his time to trips, because he's trying to spread Spiritism to the biggest amount of people that he can. And he was already advised that he cannot do too much because his health is fragile. And the spirits also told him, you are not going to live long. So be careful. Don't waste your energy. But in his mind, he had to do the most he could, because he was afraid to die, and the certain things that he really wanted to do not to be completed. So that's his understanding. And let's go deeper in this portion of the book. So in 1865, Kardec published a new book called Heaven and Hell, or Divine Justice According to Spiritism. We already know the final name was Heaven and Hell. So in this book, there are examples of situations of spirits, both in the spirit world and on earth, along with reasons for such situations. It is a beautiful, beautiful book. A lot of people don't even question about reading just because of the title, Heaven and Hell. And they are like, oh, no, I don't want this. Like, they are afraid of it. What is kind of crazy, because we should all read it and understand these are spirits who returned, and they are explaining through mediumistic meetings, and they are explaining to Kardec their sufferings, their pain, why they are going through all this in the spiritual world. So it's really a wonderful book. I encourage everybody to read. So Kardec was a tireless worker, and he was always on his feet from 4:30 a.m., responding to everything, the vehement polemics directed both against Spiritism and against himself. The numerous letters addressed to him, he attended to directing the Review Spiritiste in the Parisian Society for Spiritist Studies. He also organized the Spiritism and prepared its works. So, as you can see, he was very, very busy And this portion, he's busy with his spiritism. But you imagine, he also was working to survive. So the physical and mental excess exhausted his body, and the spirits repeated had to reprimand him in order to make him to spare his health. However, he knew that he would not last more than 10 years. Several communications had warned him of that time limit and told him that he would only conclude his task in a new existence, which would follow the short interval of the coming discarnation. That is why he did not want to waste the opportunity to give Spiritism everything he could in strength and vitality. So imagine a spirit comes to you and say, hey, Angie, I'm so sorry, but you don't need to do so much. You need to calm down because you're going to die pretty soon and you are just speeding up this process. But everything you are worried right now, you will come back. You will come back and you finish. And I think about myself because I am the type of person that is like anxious. If I have an idea, I want to put that idea in practice as soon as possible. Or if I get something, for example, I buy a picture. I have to put that picture in the perfect location, the location I want immediately. So it's crazy. I never want to leave it for tomorrow. I'm like very immediatist. Of course, this is something that we should work on. It can be something that's going to make you sick about it. So in the case of Kardec, much different than me, he was worried about the spiritism. So he wanted the best for all. And because he had developed a method of creating it, so he wanted to speed it up. So he already knew, okay, I'm going to die. And in my next life, I will finish. Let me try to complete as much as possible. And that's what Kardec was doing. I admire him so much. And then the next book he published was Genesis, Miracles and Prophecies According to Spiritism. He published it in January 1868. And this is one of the most important books because it is a synthesis of this first 4 books already published. The already published volumes from a scientific point of view. And I have to tell you that a lot of people don't even think about reading the Genesis. So the people that actually study Spiritism, because we know there are lots and lots of people that like it, and they say they are spiritists, but they say this in the sense of they like to listen to a talk, they like to listen to a lecture, to a conversation, they are curious about certain things, but they never really take the step of being here with us right now, doing a study. Because they're like, I study. No, this is so boring. I don't like it. But when someone comes to them with a legitimate question to understand a little bit better about Spiritism, they don't know how to answer because they never really dig in a little bit to understand further. They just, oh yeah, I heard it. Yeah, Genesis. Yeah, great book. Yeah. Have you read? Oh no, I didn't have opportunity because I really like romances, Chico Xavier, medium, famous, haha. Yeah. So this makes me very upset because we have this beautiful jewels in our hands and we do not use it. We do not really study it. So it's already wonderful that you are all here dedicating your time to learn about these books and to really try to open up your mind to participate and understand. But, we have always to go a little bit further The codification is 5 books. So this is the basic. And there are so many other important ones. So Spiritism is really a science of studying, constant study. We are like, if we can joke about, like doctors, you can never stop studying because there is always something new. So just for you to have an idea, Chico Xavier, the most famous medium from Brazil, he psychographic more than 440 books. There are books of all types. Yes, there are many, many romances, but there are also positive affirmations. There are study books, there are poems, there is everything. So imagine 440 with one medium, and there are so many spirits who brought it for us. So yes, it's wonderful to read romances. I read so many, but it's really important that we have the basic, and then we can complement, we can mix up. So then we start really evolving. Then we start having that, that aha moment. Aha, when we finally understand something. So this is the good thing. So the constant object of his preoccupations was to know who would replace him, because he felt that his discarnation was at hand. So he was like, I'm going to die at any moment, and who is going to continue this work? So during the early years of Spiritism, from the income from his pedagogical work, he was a professor. So Allan Kardec had bought 2,666 square meters of land on Segur Avenue, behind Avenue of the Invalids. This is in Paris. So he took 50,000 franc loan with Credit Foncier in order to build 6 small houses with a garden on this land, and he nourished the sweet hope of retiring one day to one of them. So Kardec bought this land, exhausted his finances, he had no more money, and then he got a loan to build houses, to build 6 houses, very simple houses. And he imagined those houses would be to Spiritist members. And he wanted one for him and for his wife in the future when he retired. So that was like his dream. So, but unfortunately, he died and he could never go there. So, after his death, it would become the rest home for indigent defendants of Spiritism to retire in old age. So this is very beautiful that he thought about living there and with other people, and in the end it went to indigent people that had no money to be able to afford a house like that, and he donated to the ones that really defended Spiritism in their lives. So in 1869, let me just see if there is any comments here, because I can be talking, I don't read your comments. I'm so sorry. Hello, Daniela Wise, how are you? Welcome to be here with us. Hipólito, hi Hipólito. Claudia Garces, hello my friend, nice to have you here. This is awesome. Very good. Angie, anxious? Never. Yeah, Claudia, I'm always like, and I have thousands of ideas. Calm down, Angela, one at a time, please. So, continue. In 1869, the Spiritist Society was reconstituted. So the Spiritist Society is the society that Kardec started. He was the founder of this Spiritist Society. And they reconstituted it, and it became an anonymous society with capital of 40,000 francs to be used in the bookstore. So the Revue Spirité and the works of Allan Kardec. So it was going to be to this money was going to be dedicated to these activities. So this new society was to commence, to start in April 1st. And everything was planned to move to Villa Segur in order to work more actively on the books that he still had to write. He had many books in his mind to continue producing, continue working. So he was fully ready to change residence when in March 31st, the heart disease that had silently undermined him put an end to his robust constitution, and like a lightning bolt took him from the affection of his disciples, and this was a great loss to Spiritism. So you imagine this man, my goodness, when I think about Kardec, I just think like about this person that was never tired. He was always working, always producing, always thinking ahead. What else can I do? And as we read, we are finishing his biography. He was not a hyper man, like super crazy, like I am hyper, but he was a focused man that dedicated his time to things that he really thought was important. But then he fully dedicated himself. As we saw, he woke up 4:30 a.m. 4:30 a.m. every day to answer letters from all over the world he was receiving, and also to answer the people that was accusing him. So his letters were not just letters of people that were happy about discovering Spiritism, or people that were happy about this, talking about certain things they had in common, but a lot of accusatory letters. And he was always there, calm, trying to understand the point of view of the person and trying to give his point of view, what is very difficult to any one of us. So imagine you in your house when you receive an email, a text message, or a little bit more difficult nowadays, because nowadays people accuse us in social media. So you go to Facebook, Instagram, there is someone talking badly about you, and it's difficult to read about that and answer in a calm way, because we like but he was able to do it in a very good way, and many times he gave reason to the person, saying, I understand your point of view, and I would like to explain my points, without like immediately attacking. And that's how we usually do. We usually go to attack. What is not good, not good, don't do it. Do always what Chico Xavier told us in the book Nosso Lar: put the water in your mouth, hold the water. It was the spirit of André Luiz, who had just arrived in the spiritual realm, and he was talking without stopping. He was like Angy, crazy. And his mentor said, take this medication. Do not drink, put in your mouth, and keep it there until I come back. And then he left. He left. And then he kept the water. And then after hours, he's not coming back. And he drank. He couldn't understand why that. But later on, when a new patient arrived and was right next to him, the patient was acting very, very similar to him. And then he understood. Now I understood. Listen, take this water. It's very good for you. You have to put in your mouth. He did the same. So we should do this type of things. So let's go from where we stopped here. So it's true, all those who had known and loved him into profound consternation. So Hippolyte Léon Denis Rivail, Allan Kardec, died in Paris at 59 Saint-Denis, 2nd District, in Marais de la Banque on March 31st, 1869, at 65 years of age, after succumbing to an aneurysm. So he was very young. If we see that nowadays, 65 is super, super young. And an aneurysm took his life. So a huge crowd accompanied his mortal remains of the one who had been Allan Kardec. their final resting place at Père Lachaise. Is the very famous cemetery in Paris. It's a very, very big cemetery in Paris. So 4 eulogies were preferred at the mouth of the master's tomb. So the first one was from Mr. Levin. So he spoke his words on behalf of the Parisian Society, the society that Allan Kardec had actually opened, had initiated. Then the famous Camille Flammarion, and the Camille Flammarion also made a huge sketch of Kardec's character, his personality, how he lived, and we are going to see later on that everybody sees his drawing of his face. He's very serious man, and you would just imagine, my God, this man never smiles. But it was not actually like that. He was a very friendly person. No, not somebody bubbly, crazy, but he was very friendly, not really an austere and like a nasty person. No way. So Camille also, he does an examination of the situation of the physical sciences from the point of view of many things, especially the existence of the soul and its indestructibility. So this is really powerful. So the existence of the soul, this is what Camille wanted to demonstrate, that Kardec understood it so beautifully, and he just became one of these souls that the physical body dies, but the spirit will live forever. So the third person was Mr. Alexandre Delanne, and he spoke on behalf of the spiritists from out of the town centers, from all the spiritist centers that Kardec dedicated his time to travel and to plant the seed, telling them how to do, helping them to start their own points of light. So he spoke from them. And then the final person was Mr. E. Miller, and he spoke on behalf of Kardec's families and friends, and said the last goodbyes to this dearly departed. So I can just imagine the amount of people and how strong it was, because it's a person that really had an impact in a lot of people, not just in his personal friends and personal family, but much broader. So Mrs. Kardec, his wife, she was 74 years old at the time of her husband's passing, but she lived until 89 years old. So 74 when he died, and she only died when she was 89, and they did not had any kids. There is a new thing that appeared, I believe, last year, the last months or last year, that was a letter that has been circulating in the internet, and most of the people think it is true, that at a certain point of their lives, him and his wife, they actually adopted a girl, but unfortunately this girl ended up dying, and they never had the kids on their own. And the girl they had adopted, unfortunately, she also died. So they did not leave any heirs. And then we can continue here, because we are going to talk a little bit about his personality. We can actually say this. So Allan Kardec, he was always discussing transcendental metaphysics, all kinds of philosophies, deeper thoughts, but he would go great lengths to entertain his frequent guests at Villa Segur, that was his house. And he always had an affable kindness, a good smile and laughs. So this is beautiful. This is beautiful for us to understand that he was a sweet person. He was a loving person. And Yes, it was very difficult when he departed. So, my friends, now we are going to go to the second part of our meeting when we have our guests. And I will bring our guests to our screen here. Very good. Hello, hello, girls. Let me
Hello.
remove this thing here so you guys can see us a little bit better. So we have here Norah, Brasil. Norah have been here with us many times, so I'm sure you all know Norah very well. And we are happy to have today also Jacqueline. Hello, Jacqueline. Very good to have you here.
Hello,
Jacqueline
Norah.
is
Hello,
here.
Angie.
He lives here in Miami with us. Jacqueline, you actually live near me, no? Do you live in
Yes,
Bristol or
I
downtown?
live in Brickell. Live in
Yes,
Brickell.
very good.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbor. My goodness. My neighbor. We have to meet. We have to meet. In this COVID time, it's funny because everything is online, online, even when we live so close to each other. So, welcome, welcome, girls. I'm super happy to have you here. Thank you so much. And we are going to start with the study of the gospel. I'm just trying to remove this thing here to make we all a little bit bigger. And seems it changed, and I cannot do it. I cannot do it. But okay, let's go. So, if you have the book Gospel, oh wait, I can remove my name. Ha ha! Yes, discovered. Very good. We're much bigger now. We can see us better. So, my friends, please, please, please put your comments, write your questions because it will be a pleasure for not just me answering, but we are going to be all answering. If you have the book, chapter 13, and we are going to be talking about many items today. So, we actually have to pay attention to our time so we can do it. So the first one I want to talk about is do good without ostentation. So chapter 13, we are going to be talking about items 1, 2, 3. And I will read just a little tiny piece so we can sparkle the conversation. So doing good without ostentation holds great merit. Hiding the hand that gives is even more meritorious. So why? What can we talk about it? I'm waiting.
Well, I think what we can understand from this part of the book is that basically it is a lot easier for us to do something and talk about it to others, because when we talk about this to others, when we publish the work that we do, we actually end up being rewarded by this through our pride, or sometimes even expecting that other people would give something back to us. In reality, when we talk about charity, when we really talk about giving without expecting anything, without expecting any sort of recognition, that's the real charity. It's an act of humility, right? It's you give something because you have, or sometimes you don't even have, like the other part that we're going to study today, and you don't expect to get anything in reciprocation for what you're giving.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Nora, what do you want to
So,
complement?
sure. Thank you so much. Just to add to Jacqueline's comments earlier, something that resonated so much, perhaps with the entire selection, is this idea of, we continue reading, talking about our moral, like our evolution. And as we start to see life in a spectrum of not just now, but eternal, our actions actually show that. So therefore, we start to see maybe life as a race. And so when you think of doing the good and giving, we act like a team player, right? Because that's when we're in a race, we're a team player. We think we're giving alone. We have that illusion of it. But in actuality, it's not. We're not always alone. So I guess sometimes we are designated to, like, in a 3D version, we can say we together with people, and we give as whatever contribution. And sometimes we are alone, but we have to remember that there are also spirits on the other side who are also collaborating with us. So when we start acting as a team player, right, our actions start to show. So we have the classic cliche idea of a sports team, right? We always have that guy or lady who wants to show off, right? Like, oh, to me, when I think of this person that wants to show off, that's the idea that I get when we're playing when they're playing a game. We read a poem this week. It's called Casey of the Bat. It's a 1800s poem. It was super cute. It's about baseball. And actually, I found out Disney made a really cute cartoon like back in the days. Just a side note, since you like history, Angie, I'm throwing it in there. Anyway, in this idea, Casey goes to the bat and everybody's waiting for him to perform, right? And he has other team members in the plate, and they're waiting for him. He lets the first two balls, according to the poem, he lets them go. He's just like, whatever. I'm gonna show off on the third one. Well, he strikes out, and the crowd is like, "Oh my gosh!" Right? And he's so embarrassed, and he's so humiliated. So this is the kind of thing when it's talking about people that want to show off when they give, just to remind ourselves we're a team. Nobody's better than anyone else. We're in this together, and everybody's contribution is like that. What's needed.
And if I can add one more thing that I was actually is in the book as well, just to complement what Norah is saying, is sometimes when we do this kind of like publishment, like this person was embarrassed by the recognition, right? But sometimes when we publish what we are doing, the person who received our benefit maybe be humiliated, right? So we have to be careful. We have to do it in a way that this person is not going to feel any less than us, because everything we have, everything is for a purpose, and it doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody else that has more or less than me. And if I have and I can share, they're simply part of my role as a human being, because we're all brothers and sisters.
Yes, yes, exactly. And there are a lot of famous people that they help so much, and all in silence. Nobody knows what they're doing. Of course, there are others that are put all over the place to publish about that, to get some knowledge about that. We don't know if they are trying to be show off or what. It's good. They are already doing good. It's already good. Any type of charitable act is positive. But what we are really trying to understand here is that we shouldn't do this show off, like, hey, look at me. Ooh, I am this special person. I'm going to heaven. So this is not good. I know that a lot of you must be thinking, oh, how are you talking about it? Because we see all over the internet that you did the loving bags for the homeless, and you put all over the Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It is different than when you are trying to collect. Not me, Angie. I could never do 400 bags with 220 items each bag alone. I couldn't. But because of you and so many others that sent me donations, then we could work together and make this happen. And so there is a boundary, very, very thin there, of someone that's trying to collect help and someone that's trying to be, I am a saint. So this is a dangerous line that in Spiritism we always think, I am doing good or I'm showing off. So this is really a personal question that we have to, whenever we are doing something, try to reflect on it. You're trying to show off, or you really want to do it? You really want to help people? You really want to inspire people to do something in whatever they live? And another thing, we already studied so many times that the charity it's not just physical things. We always connect with material because it's almost like natural. Charity is giving alms, giving things, giving, but a charity is also giving our word, giving our time, especially to that people that we do not enjoy spending time with them because they are difficult. So this is also a charity. So this is one of the things for us to talk. And then we jump to the
Angie,
second one. Yeah.
if I can just add one more comment based on what you were saying, your example of, promoting the bags for the poor during Christmas time, I think it has to do with the intention and the impact, right? Your intention is not to show off. Your intention is to have an impact in the lives, and hopefully you can inspire more people. And instead of having 400 bags, you can have 600 bags. That's the intention. It's not the intention to show off, because if you're doing it to show off, some people may get like, I don't want to see this anymore, right? It has a relationship between the intention and the impact when you try to do this, and when you're doing a fundraising for other things like a cancer research and stuff like this. It is because you're trying to bring awareness and you're trying to do something beneficial or something positive outside of that publicity.
Yes, very good. I love the explanation. You're hired.
Watch out, Jacqueline.
So the next one we are going to talk is it's beautiful. Is the title is Hidden Misfortunes. So the ones that didn't read about it, it's so beautiful. I remember reading this like 20 years ago, the first time, and being impacted, being like, my goodness. So if you guys didn't read it, it shows the story of a very rich woman, and she goes visiting many poor families, and she brings them food, she brings clothes. It's a beautiful story. And her daughter actually goes with her because she wants to teach her daughter how to be charitable. And her daughter gets touched by what her mother is doing, and her daughter said, "Oh, I want to give it too." But there is such a deeper lesson behind that. So I would like you guys to explore this a little bit.
You want to start, Nora? Or I
Sure.
can start?
No problem. What resonated here again, it's the idea of empowering children, right? That's what she was doing. And so I'm not a parent, but I am an educator, so I am around kids a lot as
You
well.
are a mother of 30 at the same time.
Absolutely. I have 100, how many have? I have 105 kids
Oh God!
during COVID. My
You
God.
are a hero.
Oh, thank you. All the teachers right now, and the
Mm-hmm.
kids. But it really resonated. We could totally also help kids out and teaching them these lessons. One of the things that's very current right now with teenagers, with kids, and I was reading articles on this, as teachers, when they're in a classroom, it's so easy to have access to know, are they depressed, are they showing signs of something, anxiety or even suicidal. But now, because they're behind screens, they don't turn on the cameras, right? It's so hard. So as educators, right, one of the coolest things that we can do is tell the children, you be a friend, because it's a lot easier for the kids to talk amongst themselves, right? And so you role model it too, but you also empower them. This is what you can do. It takes no money, it takes no effort, it doesn't take anything. Check up on your friends. Why are they not logging on? What is happening? And they start doing that. I actually received emails from kids saying, Ms. Ramirez, right? Um, this student is not logging in because her family is poor and they don't have a computer, and they're all sharing one device. And that completely changed the whole perspective of things. And these are the things that helps. And so that's what resonates. How are we educating our kids, talking about their responsibility as well as young teenagers with COVID, right? What is their part that they're doing? So that's the part where I come in as an educator.
Very
What
clear.
I it's beautiful too, Nora, to see that you motivate your students to check and take care of each other, especially in times like this, right?
Very tough.
That's beautiful. What I liked about this part of the gospel is the part that the child, the young lady that the mom brings to help the family. She thinks that she's helping the with the money. I don't know if she's thinking, but that's part of the book that she said that don't think that because I'm giving this to give to them, it's your merit because I worked to give. You're just doing that. What you should be doing is give your time, talk to these people, give them a good word, give them a consolation word. Or if you want to do something, learn how to sew, learn how to build clothes for these people so they can have something. So what she's saying is don't take things that they're not your own merit to give to other people. Give something that is yours, something that you have built. If you don't have anything, give your word. Be caring, give your love to that person, give your time to that person. It's not necessarily material things. That's what I really like about this part too.
Yeah, no, this was so powerful because the daughter was thinking she is doing something because she's taking the gifts and
Yeah.
giving to the people, but in reality, the mother made her to open up her mind. You are just giving what is mine, so the merit is mine, it's not
Mhm.
yours. And then she realized, oh, it's true, and then we should do all this with our kids, with our students, encourage them doing good for somebody else, like you're doing, Nora. You will encourage, you have a
Mhm.
friend, talk to your friend. And nowadays, as you mentioned, social media is so dangerous because kids, they think they have 100, 1,000 friends, and actually it's not. You have people that know you, but they are not necessarily your friends. And we hear all the time kids that write on social media in certain applications that they are thinking of killing themselves, and the others, the followers, I don't know how to call these people, they say, go do it, let's see if you really can finish what you said. It's like, how is that possible? It's so sad. So we need to make them to understand that real friends, they care for us. They are not going to be doing this type of things because this is someone that really don't care about us at all. And the last point is the number 5, the widow's meat. It's a widow's mite, actually, I think.
Mhm. Yeah.
Nora, yeah, yeah. The widow's mite. This is the beautiful passage that we all heard somehow about it. So I'm just going to read a little tiny piece. So wealthy people were putting large amounts of money in this location, and then a poor widow also came and she put two very small coins, very very simple coins, in this farting, this thing that they used to collect. No, amount of farting. Farting was like a penny, something very very small. And then this poor widow Jesus said that this poor widow has given more than what all the others had put in the offertory box, for they have all given of their abundance, whereas she has given from her poverty everything she had, and everything she had, and everything that was left for her to live on. So this is so powerful. One millionaire puts like $1,000 in a place, it's nothing for him. But a very, very poor person puts the only money she has, and she donates, so she donated much more than all the other ones. So what can we talk about this too?
Well, I will circle back to the example that Nora was saying before. Maybe the students, they didn't have money, they had their attention, right? It's not only about material things. And sometimes we think we're so busy. I'm so busy. I have time to do this. I have time to do that. But if you find a little bit of your time, if you dedicate a little bit of your time to touch base with somebody that is probably struggling, especially at this moment in the United States, everything that is going on in the United States, we have so many people that are struggling, with this justice. I'm not going to say that is good or bad. I just read, and I work in human resource. I know that there's people in the company I work for that are really struggling to understand and to cope with this moment in the US that we are living right now in the US. Take a moment of your time, 5 minutes, grab the phone, call that person and say, hey, how are you doing? You know, it may not be money, but it's a lot of power, it's a lot of it's something that you dedicate. You're not doing something else. You're not checking people's lives on social media. You're not watching your favorite show on Netflix, but you're dedicating part of your life to somebody that probably just needs someone to listen to him or to her at that moment, right? That's the true charity, because you're very busy, you have family, you have children, but you still dedicate the time to that person. This is one thing that nowadays I think we can relate and we can do, because for most people, especially in the US, it's not difficult to give 2 cents, to give $10. That's actually most people are donating some way, shape, or form, a lot of, some amount. The most difficult thing is donating your ears, don't judging, like not judging the person that you're listening to, which is
Yeah.
very, very difficult, right? So that's something that I think that they can complement this part of the gospel, in my opinion.
Beautiful. I think
Beautiful.
also, just to add to Jacqueline's beautiful way of putting it, it's also really teaching us about abundance, right? Because a lot of people, I mean, I've been to some of these seminars where they're promised, oh, you're going to make money, right? Like, oh, you're going to make money right away. And then people get caught up in that illusion of making money. And if you even listen to all these people who are already at that level financially, they actually go back and say, first, they always give, right? And second, when they're doing whatever it is, it's their passion, it's their gift. And it just so happens that it brings in financial revenue. And so I think here we're learning about our abundance, right? A lot of us think that giving more, giving this or doing that is what's going to bring in more revenue, but rather it's the abundance of the heart. I mean, we've read so many books about that, and that's kind of like, and it says here, those who sincerely desire to be useful brothers and sisters will find 1,000 opportunities, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, I want to make the big bucks, right? Because I'm now opening up charity organizations and they have that. But, sometimes in a reincarnatory plan, it might not be for us. And so we're still called upon to act like if we were billionaires, but in this sense of abundance, of, as Jacqueline said, like giving and just doing, sharing our gifts, right? And don't think about the money aspect of it.
Yes. Yes, beautiful. Because we can all be more charitable. Exactly as you girls were saying, charity is not just money, 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 but it's so many other things. It's also indulgence, comprehension towards people that are very different than us. Like the moment we are living right now is so difficult because of this this anger. It seems that there is so much anger in everyone. You can't say I like blue or I like red because it's already, oh, so you are, haha, I don't like you. It's like, my goodness, please. And we have to understand that we have to respect our differences, and there is a moment for everything. And it seems that in this moment, not just in the US but everywhere in Brazil, it's very, very strong right now. So if we could exercise what we say, this is already wonderful, because everybody's killing each other, but then you're like, you don't instigate, you don't put more wood in this fire, you remove yourself from that, you pray for these people. then we can like, oh, please, let's try to live a little bit better. So this is also one of the missions of Spiritism. Spiritism always teaches us to be more forgiving, to be more understanding, because many times whatever people that we are having issues right now, we did this in the past. If it was not in this life, it was in a past life, and now we are like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Your guardian angels will say, yeah, Angie, you did this in your past incarnation, and you're like, oh, I did. So it's like, be careful. So it's good for us to understand it and to be more charitable towards these issues. It's very,
And
very important.
compassionate too.
Yes,
Instead of judgmental, instead of attacking, be compassionate.
exactly. What is so difficult nowadays, because everybody's so quick to attack, it's so quick. Everybody's like super quick to attack each other, and I think when things were not so super exposed now, right, like right now, things took like longer to happen. But nowadays, social media gives a lot of people this power to fight. They create fake profiles just to attack others. So it's like crazy. It's like so difficult for all of us. So we have Claudia Garces. She made a comment here. So Claudia said, we don't need to go too far. Let's try to be better and pay attention to the ones around us in our homes. Exactly. Exactly. People fight with their own family members, their neighbors. And Daniela Wise, she says, we can start be charitable at home with our families too. Yeah, it's like, whoa, you guys were really connected there. Sometimes we are charitable to others, but at home we do realize the many opportunities to give our time, attention, and love. Very
That
deep,
is, can you
very
imagine if we can start doing this with our own people, the people that are inside our home? Can you imagine there's going to be less hate outside, because sometimes go outside because um, they don't have it inside their house. That's a very valid point too.
yes, and
Be compassionate with our, if I like red and my husband likes blue, it's okay. We can agree to disagree. You have your opinion, I have my opinion, and let's just move on. It doesn't impact our relationship, it doesn't impact our lives, you know.
exactly. This is in my
Whatever
home. I
they
still
do, we
love
just
them.
have to do our best. When we go to the polls, you vote, and that's the only thing we can do. Nothing
Yeah.
else will help the economy. Nothing else will help the justice. Nothing else will help. The only thing we can do is go to the polls and vote. That's it.
Yes.
And
And
we can agree to disagree.
regarding what the girls told about the family, one thing is true, because we have this thing that we usually pretend to be really nice people to the people that we know superficially, like to our friends, but even like to family, but to close family, to brothers, sister, mother, father, sons and daughters, we show ourselves. And then it's like, oh, many times my son comes to me, oh, you were so sweet and honey to everybody, you with me you're so difficult. Well, you have there another boundary there. When you are a mother, when you are a teacher, you have to educate them, and sometimes you have to be strong because they want to. Oh. So yes, sometimes it's not easy, but we have to be really charitable to our family, because if we are not loving, understanding, forgiving to their mistakes, how are you going to be able to be like that to the bigger population? It's impossible. It's a farce. It's not a reality. So this is how we have always to start little. We have to start little, doing our little charitable steps. Someone curses at you, you control yourself. You're already being charitable because you're not giving back. So it's little by little. One day somebody's going to do it and you're going to pray for that person. But just the ability to be able to control yourself, it's already something. It's already like a step towards goodness. So, Nora, do you want to say anything to close?
Really quickly, just to add on that, what you guys are saying, and just to remember, like it says here, the widow gave very little, but it was her all. And sometimes people give to us too, and they might be giving us their all, right? And for us to acknowledge as well that, not expect people, maybe for us it's so easy to give certain things, but for other people it's not. And so just to balance that off and just connect them.
Yes, yes, very good, very good, very deep, beautiful. I love to hear the comments, to understand what others think. That's why it's so good when we have a group discussion. It's very different than one person talking, 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 but to have other opinions. That's why I always encourage all of you here to write your thoughts, to ask questions, so we can have more interaction. This is very, very beautiful. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Thank you so much, Nora. Always a pleasure to have you girls. And right before we leave, I just want to let you all know that in February, we are starting a new program. We are going to start a gospel at home and a irradiation class. So be tuned for that. Will be very short, will be just 30 minutes, but I will be right after this study. So we will finish this and start the new one. So in this new irradiation, we are going to be able to meditate and to pray and irradiate these positive vibrations to our family members, to our friends, and to ourselves, seeking any sense physically or even spiritually, needing like a boost in morality in times that the depression and suicide is so high. We all need this. So I'm actually very excited for this. So stay tuned from when we start. So Jacqueline, would you like to do our final prayer?
Okay.
Haha.
It's gonna be a short one because actually I'm in São Paulo. Today is already midnight for me.
Very
Yeah.
good. You're going to sleep with the angels tonight.
Thank you. So if we can close our eyes and visualize a very bright light, white light coming towards us. Thanking God, thanking Jesus for having the opportunity of being together tonight. Learn a little bit more about His words, having the opportunity to talk about them, to give our opinion, and also to share, to get the feedback from some of the people who are watching us. Thank you so much, Lord, for this moment. And we pray that tonight we can all keep this positive energy that we have right now, and we can change tomorrow when we wake up and we start interacting with other people. We try to give a little bit more of the good that we have in us and be compassionate and less judgmental so we can help this become a better world for all of us. So be it.
So be it. Very beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you that were here with us tonight. Remember, be more charitable. Tomorrow is Friday. Be lovey to your co-workers, to your wonderful boss, to your family, everybody. Girls, thank you so much. And I see you all next Thursday. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye-bye. Good
Bye.
night.